Hello dear students. So today we will learn what is Pascal's law. So consider you keep your hand like this and you place a large stack of books over your hand, maybe encyclopedias, large books. And as you stack them, if you place 3, 4 or even more books like this in this shown order, you will notice that both these points in your hands, A and B, have selected 2 points slightly far apart. For some reason, I'll tell you why. Both these points would experience what we call as pressure. And why that happens? It is because of the weight of these books. This weight of the books will exactly press against your hand and it causes pressure at all points in your hand, and I have chosen 2 points A and B. And 2 points A and B here would experience equal pressure because books are distributed uniformly over your hand. Now, if you take your same hand and if I say this time I am going to take a pin and I am going to press it against your hand, suddenly you will realize that it is very painful, right? If I give you choice, should I do this or this? Which one would you prefer? Definitely you would prefer this over this, even though the pin is very, very light in weight. And the reason for that is the concept which I just told you, which we call as pressure. And how do we define pressure? We call it as force over the area where the force is being applied. Now, weight of the books will exert force on your hand and the force is distributed over a wider area of your hand. Whereas here, weight of the pin is going to give force, but the area where it is acting is extremely small. So even with a lighter force, if the area is still smaller, the pressure could be very high. And this is one classic example of a very high pressure situation. Let us do something interesting now. If I take the same stack of books in a similar situation, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller stacks of books, small size books, and place it over one corner as I have shown here. And what happens when I do that? You will realize that point A in your hand is going to have a more increase in the pressure compared to point B. Why? Because as you can see, these smaller books are stacked exactly above this point A in your hand, right? So A point would feel a higher increase in the pressure and B point would not feel much of an increase because of the way in which it is stacked. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If I take a container of a liquid and if I take a container and fill it with a liquid, say water, and I'll fill it up to this level. So take a container in this L shape and try to fill the liquid up to this level. And now imagine these 2 points inside the liquid, point A and point B. So what happens at these 2 points? Just like you place the stacks of books here and you had 2 points A and B, even here you have 2 points A and B, and these 2 points will feel an increase in the pressure, or in other words, points A and B will feel pressure. Why is that? Because of the liquid, because just like the books are stacked over these 2 points, the water layers above these 2 points will exactly act like the stacks of books, and both points A and B, similar to this situation, here both points A and B would feel an increase in the pressure and both points A and B would have the same pressure, correct? Now what if I try to do this to this? What do I mean by that? I'll take some more water and I'll pour it on this side of the container, just like this, right? So in this L-shaped container, I'm pouring more water only on this side, just like I kept the books only on one side. Now what is going to happen here? Will there be a higher increase in the pressure at point A compared to point B? because water level is raised only at this level now, only on this side now? The answer is no. That's exactly the difference between solids and fluids, which means liquids, right? What happens in this scenario is both the points A and B would feel a same increase in the pressure, even though you have poured water only on one side of the container, because that is exactly what happens in liquid. At any point, not just these 2 points, every other point in this liquid will feel the same increase in the pressure, and that's the essential difference between solids and fluids. And this principle was discovered by the French scientist Blaise Pascal, and we now call it as the Pascal's law.